Is it still like? Is it cool if I have the headphones on?
Yeah, I mean, I feel normal. Do you feel normal talking to me with the headphones on? Because I would feel weird with the headphones on talking.
No,
to me.
it's fine. I get it. It feels like something different is happening besides a regular conversation. But yeah, I think I will be fine.
It's like getting massaged with your own voice or something. I can't explain it.
Yeah, it is
an ear massage.
It's the most narcissistic thing you could possibly like. Like just yes, I like listening to myself while my ears are cushioned.
I kind of have a hard time. I've been, you know this. I've been recording lately. I've kind of have a hard time recording with the headphones in because of that. Like, I feel like I pay too much attention to hearing what my voice sounds like that I don't pay attention enough to the actual like song.
Yeah, no, I do the same thing. Like when I record, like will have the headphones on, and it's something about like hearing your own voice in your ear that's just like, it's like hearing your voice in general at all, like on your phone or wherever you recorded yourself, and like it just kind of
never sounds as good.
It never sounds how you think it would when you're.
Yeah, my voice in my head is amazing. Outside of my head is like the dumbest fucking thing.
Yeah, well, like that's what I'm saying. Like when I record music and stuff, like it used to be, I was really critical about it. Like, God, my voice sounds so nasally, or it sounds so stupid. And you just do it more and more, and you get used to it. So I guess I'm kind of used to hearing myself, but not just talking about religion and politics, which I guess maybe
with the segue.
Yeah, we figured
of religion and politics.
We figured this is the best way to just come on in and to the podcast game. Just, hey guys, who you pray to, who you vote for? Let's go ahead.
Which apparently are associated nowadays.
Yeah, well, that's definitely
if you pray, actually.
Yeah, well, like definitely in Alabama where I grew up, like that's definitely like a 1 + 1 = 2 is Christian and conservative just go together.
You know what I noticed? I noticed that you talk about conspiracy theories and like that type of stuff because and Christian fundamental, because that's the shit that you dealt with on the daily. Like completely different than what whatever.
No. Like I think like, well, I don't know if you were getting to this, but conspiracies and religion, like it takes a lot of belief, obviously, to believe in religion. And conspiracies is the same way. Like you have to believe the information that you're getting. And we were talking about this earlier, like about conspiracy, but now we're recording it, so we have to talk about it.
Yeah,
it doesn't count unless other people hear it.
If it doesn't go on social media, it never happens.
That's right. But like in order to believe in conspiracies, in order to like really be into conspiracy theories, you have to believe in certain things that really do require a lot of faith. And like, yeah, you're good. And in certain sources and websites. So like I think that a lot of people that I see that are big into conspiracy theories is just as easily been evangelical religious people.
Yeah, it takes a leap of faith to just like believe something without substantial evidence.
Yeah. Or at least you think that the evidence that you're reading or hearing is credible enough to like make you, truly think that whatever that belief is the truth.
I wonder what % of people who get involved in cults are also into conspiracy theories.
Yeah. Well, yeah, that's, I mean, I don't know, but it's like, it would seem like, you anytime I see like, you ever seen Wild Wild Country?
No, what is that?
So
yeah, I remember that. I didn't see that.
Yeah, documentary on Netflix, and it's about this guy from India who, basically just like any other religious figure tells, if you follow the things that I tell you to follow, you'll have a better life. And it was like they'll, fight each other, and they'll like take their clothes off and fuck each other, and then scream and all this. Like it was all a bunch of weird stuff, but it was like apparently theoretically, if you did all that, your life would be better. So a lot of these people started following him and following these principles, and like despite him being like, or I'm sorry, him being like really rich with doing all this. He was making a lot of money and had like a
Mhm.
bunch of cars, and so like there's all those problematic things. I would think if I was involved in that, be like, hey, why does this guy have a jet and all of us are screaming at each other butt naked, and we don't have any of that stuff, and somehow my life's better. I mean, it depends how you define life being better, but I'm just saying, like, in order to like believe in all the stuff he's saying, you would have to just that believe. You would have to believe that my life is better now because of these principles that this person has taught me and instilled in me for these past few months, years, whatever. And so I think with conspiracy theories, it can be really similar in that regard, that this information is like making you believe that something is more true, and it may like make you convince you that you're finding truth, which is another thing about people that are in cults. They're looking for a truth, like something better in their lives, that rings true to them. And like conspiracies, I think, is like people looking for truth, because that's what people are doing with looking into conspiracy in the first place, is looking for the truth. And that's what a lot of religion preaches, that they're going to give you the truth. Like, this is the truth, the way, the truth, the life. And like any other religion, they know, or they think.
So this is where I see you're struggling, but I'm wondering which is this. Are you more, is your beef with religion, or is it with the man part of religion? Like the fact that, like, would you have beef with religion if it were just you and God somehow?
Well, it depends. Like with just God, like God is what you think. Like God is how you like the book, the religion, all the organization in a church, like all that stuff, like can be questioned, and so can what you think, because so can God. So like, but what you're saying, like having beef, I don't have beef with religion.
I guess I had poor choice of words. But.
Yeah, no, it's all good. But like as far as God.
Well, what you were saying about
No, you're good. As far as like God being somebody that I don't think badly of God without the text, like to be God as well. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like the Bible versus God is two different things, because I don't have a problem with the imagination of however I think of God. Like, I would have a problem with just the text. That's the only thing. So, I mean.
Okay, so yeah, it's the organized part.
Well, it's the organized part, along with like the inconsistencies and the fallacies within the Bible.
So should churches not be allowed to make money? Is that like a big point of contention?
No, I don't have a problem with churches making money.
No, because what you were saying before about the guy, he had a private jet and stuff.
Yeah.
So like, should these priests be allowed to, like, should that not be allowed to happen?
I mean, if they want to, that's fine. Like, I'm not saying like pass legislation to keep that from happening.
I'm just saying in like morally.
Philosophically, yeah. Morally, I think it's wrong. Yeah. I would say it's wrong for like any individual to tell you, or any individual telling somebody that, hey, this is how you should live life and you should give me money. And I don't really have any evidence to prove that this shit is true, but it makes my life a lot better, and I'm going to use you to better my life. That's how I think about his name was Bhagwan, I think is what his name, and he like changed his name or something like that at some point. But specifically about the Bhagwan guy, like he had all this nice stuff, and he convinced all these people, like a ton of people, that his teachings and his rules and regulations were the right way to live. And like it's completely nuanced, it's completely complicated. Like maybe there is some good from it, but also just the plain simple fact that he was making money off these people and like really being really wealthy, and yet all these people are living in shacks and like having to wear the same clothes and all this kind of stuff.
Also, like a lot of times you think about it, like You would think the idea of giving money to the church would be so that, like, when poor people need food, they would get food. Like, that's where the money would go, right? Like,
Yeah.
when people give money to the church on Sunday, where do they expect that money to go? To the preacher?
Yeah. So for our church, I think that the church I grew up in, our money was like split into, it was like salaries for the preacher and for the people, the ladies working at the church and all this kind of stuff. And they made a lot of money. Like the church had a lot of people. It's a small town. Like then a lot of people went there and they, believe 10% of your income. I don't know if that's a Old Testament principle or not. I think that's actually New Testament. 10%
Definitely,
tithing.
I've never heard of that.
You never heard of tithing?
No.
There's literally a verse in the New Testament that talks about if you 10% of your income needs to go to the church.
Really?
Yeah, that's like a that's a
so it's like part of how God will judge you for heaven. One of the things is
I don't know about it. That's how it's looked at. Like you give 10% of the money that you have to the church because God's going to give you a crown or jewel or something like that. Which I don't know. I think that might be actually pretty.
See, the way Jews do it is it's like a country club. You pay monthly fees. Like you're a member, you could use the facilities. They got that. You come in once a week or whatever. Go. They have like a meal after services on Saturday, but you don't First of all, you're not even allowed to have money on Saturday. You're not allowed to carry money on Saturday.
Oh, really? Oh, you're not supposed to work on Sunday.
So ours is Saturday.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, is that like the Sabbath?
Sabbath is Saturday, yeah.
Oh. Well, there's a big struggle with the Protestants in that area.
Really?
Yeah, like there's some Seventh Day
Adventists.
Yeah. Adventist, is that it?
That's what it
is?
I
thought Seventh Day Adventurist. I was gonna say that, but I was like, I know that's
now. That's basically how I celebrate the Shabbos, the Sabbath.
I gotcha. Yeah, like there's Seventh Day
Seventh Day Adventist. Adventist.
No, that sounds right. I was like, man, that seems like that's the right way, but I was
also,
like, thinking it was different somehow.
I don't know anyone who's a Seventh Day.
Yeah, I don't either. I don't actually think I do either, but I know it's like it's a debate amongst the Protestants, I guess. So when you were growing up in a Jewish school, like, what was something that was different, say, than other Jewish schools or other Jewish synagogues? Did you notice that? Was there any?
Yeah, for sure. There was different levels. I remember. Okay, so in my hometown, it's so funny. It's literally like Starbucks, Dunkin' Donuts. There's one synagogue and then right next to it the other, and one's like the Coke, one's the Pepsi. They're both selling the same shit, but with a different little twist for it. We're for the upscale rich people. We're for the everyday working, which I guess is basically what church is here.
Well,
yeah.
No, you're good. No.
Yeah.
What I was kind of wondering is in a small town USA, I guess it may be like this all over the U.S., but particularly in the place I grew up, there was two churches. Actually, there were several Protestant churches, and Baptist, Methodist, Pentecostal, and the two biggest one. Actually, there was three of them that were really big. There was the Thomasville Methodist Church, Thomasville Baptist Church, and Pineview Baptist Church, all within a 6-mile radius. There, as a matter of fact, Methodist Church was probably 6 blocks down the road.
Do you guys all know who the preachers are for those churches?
Yeah. We actually, the house I grew up in, we lived closer to the Methodist Church, literally a walking distance.
Mm-hmm.
And we would drive to the Baptist Church, I guess 5 blocks down the road. The church was the same road that I grew up on, Wilson Avenue, and our Thomasville Baptist Church is on the same road as right downtown.
Had you been to the other ones too?
Yeah. No, we actually, it's interesting because there's my mom was really good friends with the pastor at the Methodist church. His name was Phil Craddock, and he was pretty cool guy. He was our church chaplain, or our chaplain for the football team. So like every football game, we would like,
Pray?
that's a, well, every football game we play right before, we would pray. We would pray, and it just goes right against public school.
No, to
like,
me that's so funny
curriculum.
because like if the other team's praying too, then God's got to pick one of them.
I know. Well, we actually went 15-0, so I guess he liked us that year. But either way,
the praying worked, man.
Yeah,
they weren't praying.
I know. But the next year, guy was like, fuck you guys.
Just the gays.
But with Phil Craddock, he was our church chaplain, and I got to know him pretty well. He was a cool guy, but it was just funny because it's like, we know him so well, but we apparently had disagreements on theology or the Bible, so we just didn't go to his church. But my mom did, I guess, for a little while.
Did you have like I remember on Saturdays we used to play football or basketball with friends, and like I'd go to like a friend's house, and if it was my first time at their house, the dad would be like, so which rabbi do you guys go to, or which synagogue are you a member? Like they would ask that question. Like that would be your categorization into like what type of family you were. Like he'd be like, okay, I know this kid could come to my house. Like
like I don't think that there was much like discrimination about what church you went to.
There was totally synagogue.
Really?
Not in my community, but in like certain religious communities, there would be that.
There was, so like I guess like there are people that are like drawn more to like certain churches because of like either the people or the preacher or like the classes or something like that. Because we did Bible study classes before church. I don't know if you guys did something like that.
Bible
you
study.
Jews.
you Jews. Bible study classes before.
Okay, let's talk about how church worked for each of us. So church Sunday morning, it is.
It's only one day a week, right?
Yeah, well, there's Wednesday, but I'll get to that.
So there's no service on Monday, Tuesday.
So
what is church on Monday? Like if you went into a church, is the preacher there?
Yeah, it's like counseling, or there's a prayer. Dude, there's a prayer room in our church, and like tons of homeless people used to like come and drift.
It's like the YMCA. They're all just getting gangbanged.
Yeah. No, it was like a really small room, like literally about the size of this, and like it just had like a big ass Bible with a pool, like a little, like a altar, and you can kneel and pray there. And they had like 2 chairs, and people
it's
just
totally like once the homeless people there, no one's going into the prayer room. Like they're just like, guess I'm not praying today,
dude. It was a phenomenon to me because like it was like a room that I never prayed in, because I was like, why do you need a prayer room? And literally you can just pray anyway, but anywhere. But I would go in there and I'd be like, just, this is the prayer room, like it's just a small room. But
what is this room?
I can't think of like times that I've been in there to actually pray, because it's never happened.
Do you have to pray on your knees?
You don't have to.
Does knees like help?
The only I think it's just like a symbolism, just kneeling before God, I guess. I don't know. There may be some Bible verse to be like, actually, Jack, you're not actually praying unless it's on your knees. So, okay, I want to get back to like church on Sunday and Wednesday.
Yeah, sorry.
But
I digress.
It's but the homeless people would come in and drift through there. Is that what I wanted to say?
No, you wanted to say what happens at church.
Oh, I wanted to say about
Sunday.
I wanted to talk about taking your hat off. You do that at church. So if
what
people
is this hat?
It's like it's a.
You have to come in with a hat.
You don't have to, but it's if you pray, you have to show your head to God. Like there's some Bible verse that like suggests that like every head uncovered when bowing, talking to the Lord.
Us Jews.
I was about to say, you guys get your little yarmulke. I don't know what.
Yeah, you got it.
Your little cups on your head, little C cup.
Yeah.
But so Sunday morning, this is what happens. We get up real early. Depends what church you go to. We had a little bit different church because we had like an early service and then like a late morning service. So get up real early. I don't know if it was like 7 or so. I think we had services start at 8, so like people would be up at 7 and be at church around 7:45. And when we actually never did that. We never went to the 8 o'clock. We went to the later service all the time. And what happens after the the early morning 8 o'clock service, it goes on for an hour. So from 8 to 9 o'clock, 30 minutes of singing hymns and, even contemporary songs and stuff like that.
Really? Contemporary?
Yeah, they would do contemporary. Like, dude, it was a...
Like Let It Be by the Beatles contemporary?
No.
Or like even more contemporary?
No. Like Christian contemporary. Like,
because I think Let It Be is kind of Christian, Like,
is it?
Yeah, when I find myself in times of trouble, Mother Mary comes to me.
There probably could be a case where somebody would come up and do that and make that. Actually, I had a time where I played Bach at church one time. It's like considered classical music, but Bach actually dedicated all of his music to God. So like he considered all his music to be glorification to God. So it's actually considered.
That's the thing about religion where I have reservations, because I am not religious. I don't like any amount of religion put on me but all the best music, all music and religion have like so much tied together. I mean, the fact that like the church created sheet music, like you know.
Oh, is it? I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew like a lot of those European composers like used it as a tool.
The original like people who created. I'm pretty sure we should look this up.
We could, yeah. I was about to say that I was really hoping to fact check, but I don't want to like let this down and then it like stop recording.
Yeah, we're good.
So
I'm looking it up right now. Yeah.
Original.
Anyways, back to what happens on Sunday.
Yeah, I'll let you look that up and I'll tell you. So 8 o'clock to 9 o'clock, you listen to somebody, or we're singing for 30 minutes, and then we're listening to somebody preach, and I mean preach like Baptist preaching, which is like fire and brimstone and yelling. However, our preacher in particular was not really a fire and brimstone guy. He was a pretty laid back guy, but he did like raise his voice. I guess it's like the style has to be
preachy.
Like, preachy. Exactly. Yeah. Hallelujah. Yes, God. Well, that's not really Baptist. Baptists are kind of reserved, but at the same time, they're very critical about.
So the difference in types of Christianity is just tone and how the preacher talks to you.
Pretty much. Yeah. That, and also like, I think drinking is like a big, because like Baptists, like how they viewed.
The Catholics don't have, like the church people don't have sex, but like
dude, pretty much any religious group is not like, they're all like preaching abstinence, but like
they would prefer abstinence over like having kids. Because if everybody has abstinence, then no kids.
No. Actually, there's a lot of promotion to like get married, and I mean, I don't know if this is typical of like every church everywhere, but ours in particular was like, I think that they really promoted the idea of like finding a partner and being in a relationship with them and with God. It's a weird way to,
and make sure that partner is the opposite side.
Yeah. Yeah. When I say partner, I do mean get you a woman and make sure that woman got a man. Yeah. There's no other way around that. But
I was right about the sheet music.
Is early church musical notation. Did the church create sheet music? The early development of Western musical notation arose in the hands of the church in various parts of Europe, including Spain and Italy.
Wikipedia, so you know it's true.
That's right. Actually, this is from MF, or the M Files.
MFDoom.com.
Yeah, MFDoom.com. MF Doom from the death. Rest in peace, for sure. Coming from the grave with vital information. The stave of, or stave, I don't know how to read.
Stave? I don't know.
I was stave. The stave of 4 lines is usually attributed to an Italian Benedict monk called Guido of Arezzo. I'm just going to say it like that because I feel like that's the right way to say it. That's cool, though. That's cool.
Because they used to, in church, they would do harmonies, and they, like, with their chanting, they would do these...
Gregorian chants. Is that church?
Maybe. I don't even know.
I think that, like, is, like, early, like, Greek or something. I don't know. But, Yeah, that's cool though. Like the ideas of like I do remember this from school was the plagal cadence, which is 4-1. And like, or it's like
That sounds
do
familiar.
re mi fa, or sorry, do re mi fa sol la ti la so fa do. Going from that's like the amen. Like it's the plagal cadence. I know that was like a
Godly.
yeah, that was like that was it's like somehow the church
Dude, they had
influenced that.
devil chords that were like banned from the
Well,
church.
the tritone.
The
It was like the tritone. You know, that's funny because in my church, I don't think I'd ever heard much like diminished chords or like a triad. But I went to a Catholic church one time, and it was like definitely there. So I was kind of like thinking, like, wait a minute, like you would think like the Catholic church would be the one that's like
It's
not
dark
implementing.
there, man.
I know. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I think that like they use a little bit more.
In general, an organ is just the scariest. I mean,
It
I
is.
love the sound of an organ,
Yeah.
but it is scary.
It
doesn't
is.
sound
It's
like
if I think about like scary songs, like you know Phantom of the Opera,
yeah.
dude. That I used to be in the car with my mom, and she loved that shit. Fucking all these musical numbers,
Yeah.
and she would eat that fucking CD all night long. And we'd like go out of town or something like that, and we would leave in the middle of the night, and I'd be asleep in the back of the car, and my mom would crank that fucking song up. Angel of music, blah, 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 blah. Like, oh god, I hated that shit. But like it was the dun, 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 dun. That shit is terrifying. Just like as a kid, and even now, like it's just a very terrifying like tonality from a.
Dude, I was
musical
so scared of
instrument.
churches growing up. My association with churches was like The Exorcist and like The Sixth Sense. I would look out my window and there would be this cross lighting up at night, and I'd be like, the devil. I don't like that's what I thought it was. Like I didn't, and I was scared.
Yeah, dude. And that's another thing about churches is they are terrifying. Like at
they
night.
are scary
At
places.
night, they really, God checks out at 6. That was a joke a friend of mine used to say. But dude, we would like do lock-ins at church. Did y'all ever do that at synagogues?
What?
Lock-ins.
What's that?
Dude, we would have like weekends or something like that, and like a random point in the year where we would just have kids stay at the church at night, and we'd stay up all night and like
Learn?
No, we would hang out, like play volleyball and shoot basketball outside and
No,
basketball.
we have like a couple days of the year, like one holiday or whatever, where we celebrate. Every week at synagogue, we read another portion of the Bible.
Mm-hmm.
It's like you read from in, September. I think it starts in September and October. So it'll be like you read the first story, which will be like about Adam and Eve. Then the next week will be Noah, and then the next week, and it keeps going till the end of the Bible, right? And then it's 365, or not 300. It's 55 or 56 weeks, whatever's in a year, and then it starts over. So the day that we finish it, you're supposed to stay up all night in the temple and like and learn all night. Like you go there, and they have usually like the temples will have like catered so that to incentivize people to come. And if you're like me, you just with your friends get stoned and just hop from temple to temple. Like one will have like sushi, another one will have like pizza, another one. So like I'm literally just like going to get the free food. But but you see people there to like morning, like just eating and learning.
Yeah.
Shit.
Huh. No, yeah. We I'm trying to think of like some like phenomena that goes on in a church every year. Revival? Do you know what that is?
No.
Revival is a week of church revival. And when I say that, I don't mean just that's what it's called, but also the intent is we're going to revive this church. We're going to make everyone on fire for God, on fire for Jesus, and just like wake up the church, revive the
way Jesus is revived.
Well, no, not necessarily that, but like it was. I think it's just like a cultural revolution that started probably in like the 60s or something. I don't know, but
So
either
it's
way,
an American tradition.
Yeah, most likely. I would just say that it's about like your church is like going through every Sunday, going through the motions.
Jesus Pride Week.
Yeah, yeah, that's pretty much it. I mean, kind of, but it's more or less like it's the promotion of, being more Christ-like and more Christian-like. At least that's our church. That's like what I think about as far as Protestants. There's like so many philosophies within different churches, even though they're both Baptist. They may have very
Tell me about
different.
the barbecues. I see, since I moved here, I see it outside of churches saying barbecue on Sunday. I'm like, can I go to these things? Am I allowed?
Hell yeah.
Yeah. Do I have to pay to go to it? Or?
I don't know, but I'll tell you this: like most of the churches in the South, I presume, I would imagine it's like this everywhere. But back to my church and what I know. Yes, we would invite anybody. We would. I don't know if we did barbecues. I can't think of like, just come on down to the barbecue. Like it's just a church.
During the summer, I see it.
Okay, yeah. So we did this thing, and I don't think a lot of churches did this, but we did in February because it was after like when hunting season was ending for a lot of people. In deer season, like the end of February, we did this thing called the Beast Feast, and it sounds just as fucking awesome as you could think. And what I mean by that is they would have people all over, like Thomasville or wherever they're from. They would come and they would bring some game that they killed: deer, hog, snake.
Have you
crawfish.
eaten snake?
Hell yeah, I've eaten snake, dude. I used to have this
snake good.
Yeah, dude, it tastes like chicken.
Really?
Yeah. So I had this.
So
guy.
why don't you just have chicken?
Because it's not snake. It's not a rattlesnake. A chicken doesn't bite you.
You ate a
kill
rattlesnake?
Yeah, it was a rattlesnake.
How do you know there's no poison and shit? Like, does cooking it kill the poison?
Well, like it's you skin the rattlesnake and like I guess there's like a poison sac or something. I don't know. I was a kid, but it was a guy that went to my church and he was like. I think I'm going to say some things that you're not going to understand. He was an RA leader, which RA, I can't even think of what that means. It means like...
something assistant, right?
Maybe. I don't know. But either way...
religious assistant.
Yeah, that's it. You are the religious assistant. You will assist those who need religion. I've done that little tongue thing several times throughout this podcast. Yeah. So... his name was Lou, Mr. Lou, and he would invite like me or like other young men, almost in like a creepy pedophile way. Now I think about it.
Now I think about it,
Look,
it was
kid,
exactly that.
You want to jump in my van? He did have a van. No, I'm just kidding. He didn't have a van, but he did. He would invite me and like other people. Me and my brother went to his house with my stepdad, and he cooked this rattlesnake. He cooked this rattlesnake that he killed, and it was.
How do
really
you cook
good.
it?
Deep fried it.
Deep fried.
Yep. He skinned it, and you like cut it off in sections, and you just have like the bones and everything, because it ain't much.
They have bones?
Yeah, dude, it's just the spine with ribs all throughout. I'm sure there's more.
That's probably why you could. Okay.
Yeah, it's probably a little more intricate than that, but from my perspective, it was just that, and you ate off the meat like.
How's hog?
Hog? Yeah, hog is good.
No, hawk. I thought you said hawk.
No, I said hog.
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 Oh,
That's
I
actually thought that. No, I'm pretty sure it's illegal to eat predatory raptors, but I don't know. Maybe somebody's done it, but no, we didn't eat hog. But there was it's primarily like deer and
deer's
like
awesome.
fish, catfish primarily.
I'm new to the catfish game, but can you have catfish not fried?
Sure you could.
I feel like I've only had it fried.
Honestly, it's probably not very good any other way. Like, if it's not very good food, fry that shit.
Yeah, exactly.
That's probably The best way to eat.
Underrated though. Crawfish are amazing.
Crawfish.
Yeah.
No, that. Oh shit, dude! They would bring crawfish and like, of course, it's like the traditional like newspaper, and you lay it out on a table, fucking trash bags and shit.
Yeah.
Dude, that crawfish is amazing, and we would have a fuck ton of that at the Beast Feast. And it was like it was a big event for us. We would have guest speakers. We had a baseball player one time. I can't remember his name, but he like made one of the top 5 greatest catches in a decade or something like that. He played for, I think, the White Sox or something, but he like caught one off the wall and like broke the wall, all this kind of shit. It was really cool. But he was there, and he was like a profound speaker and newborn Christian, all that stuff, and he spoke at one of our little things. We had several football players from like Alabama that you probably wouldn't know, and I don't even know. I can't even think of their name. Dude, we had at the Beast Feast Phil Robinson. Do you know who that is? You know the Duck Dynasty show?
Yeah.
It was like the head honcho of that whole thing.
The guy with the big...
Yeah, well, they all got big beards.
No, but the one who's like...
Yeah, he's got
the racist one. Yeah, they're all racist.
Yeah, as I say, you're still not helping me. No,
the grandfather dude or whatever?
No, he wasn't the grandfather. He was the father. The grandfather was a guy named Cy.
Okay.
And Cy was like, he had the sweet tea with him everywhere. Honestly, they're probably all super cool guys. But Phil was the...
I mean, they're super cool if you're straight white male.
You're probably
I feel like he wouldn't be so cool with me.
Yeah, New York Jew. Yeah, no chance, bro. Yeah.
Not in this town.
No, I don't know. But either way, he spoke. Phil Robinson, who's like the father, like the main character of the show.
I'm white. He'd probably like me.
Maybe so. Probably so. But he spoke, and he's like, this was like before the whole Duck Dynasty thing. So he was, they make duck calls called Duck Commander.
And they were known for that.
They were known, yeah, they were known for that.
So they were like celebrities before they even got onto TV, basically.
I wouldn't say celebrities, but they were successful. They had like the #1 duck calls and hunting equipment and all this kind of shit. So they were like successful businessmen in that. But the Duck Dynasty, that was the made them, people put them on Fox News and like judging. America Got Talent. I don't know if they've done that, but
does he do that?
I don't know. That's what I'm saying. But they would be the kind of people.
Well, next step, president.
Yeah, you never know. But I do know that they're like big Fox News correspondents. But yeah, Phil Robinson, he's probably the biggest one that came and spoke. And I don't remember anything he said, but I remember, the Duck Commander thing. And then years later, I was like, wait, that guy came to our church.
Were there ever any scandals in your church?
Oh.
Just that response right there. Like as if there's like so many, I don't know where to begin.
No, it's not so many, but there damn sure was. Dude, so I know that we've been kind of rambling on, just like
that's
we
fine.
had so many yeah, that's
at some point soon I need to get some food.
We're not the first, to do that. But dude, so we had several. I can think of 3 preachers that we had come through our church. And the one that's still there now was the one that came when I was like late middle school. His name is Ty Pardon.
Mm-hmm.
Or maybe early high school. I don't know. But he's like a cool guy. And he's, the pastor there now. Real laid back. Really good athlete. He played baseball at UNA. And like I think he won his national championship with them. In Division II baseball, but cool guy, all that stuff. He's good. But the guy before him was a guy named. Oh, actually, there was a interim pastor. That's the one of the 3 is an interim pastor. I don't remember his name, but he was there for a while. But before him was a guy named Gary Enfinger, and I don't know why I'm name dropping like this.
This is the internet, man. The Social Security. No.
But either way. He had been at my church since I was like a little kid. And then when I grew up to middle school, I guess, is when it happened. Because I get lost in like the middle school, 6th grade, 8th grade. Sure. I don't know where it was.
All the same.
Yeah. But he was there for a long time. And one day, I don't remember how it all started, but I remember going to church, and then like everybody was talking about Gary Hanfinger's like leaving the church, and I was like, what? You know, and like it was crazy. There was like, yeah, tomorrow or next Sunday is his last Sunday. And I was like, oh crap, that sucks. And so like there had been rumors all across the church, and honestly I still don't know what the full story is, but I'm going to give you the one that my mom or somebody had told me, and like somehow this information is in my head. I don't know where exactly where it came from, but here's what it is. Our preacher at that time, he went to Birmingham for like a convention or something. I don't remember. Don't know. But I do remember that there was somehow he ended up in a porn shop, and somehow he got arrested.
I think you might have told me this story.
And yeah, I think I have to. But, you know, for the sake of it
they
doesn't
didn't
count. It doesn't count unless it's on a podcast. No,
I think it should be okay for someone of a clergy to be found in a porn shop. Like,
yeah, well, so no, I think but he ended up in jail somehow, and like
that's where things.
Yeah, that's where I'm like, wait a minute, some Pee Wee Herman shit went down, and honestly, he may have not been to jail. So to be fair, all this shit may be bullshit.
Yeah.
So, either way, he
I'll
left
bet you
the church.
Google we can find out.
Maybe he comments, I don't appreciate you saying that podcast. I'm like, how the hell did you see that?
What's his name? Let's look it up.
Oh, dude, no, I don't want to.
I mean, you could
keep agging that on.
You could
okay.
Just plug it in.
Well,
I feel like you mentioned
maybe I could show
already.
a picture of the guy. I did, but I just don't want to keep agging.
We'll beep it out.
Yeah, no, it's all good. Let's see if it comes up.
If we can find any info. We needed Jamie.
I know.
Jamie, how was he arrested?
Jamie, could you look that up? Yeah.
Did he go to jail?
Here. Oh my.
You found him?
Yeah, it's him. But it's not like a story or anything. I guarantee you, he worked really hard to get rid of whatever it is.
Yeah, because you don't see anything here.
Yeah, you don't. But look,
Interesting.
He left the church and told everybody, pray for me. I'm sorry I can't stay around. Basically,
what year was this?
Oh shit, like 04, 05,
okay.
Maybe like 03 or something. But he was a really nice guy from what I remember. And I also don't know the story. I don't know the real truth, but I know that he left the church and it was like some kind of, risque scandal.
Okay.
And the problem with it was not that happened, but that he kept it a secret.
Well,
I think that
the
was the
cover up
thing.
is always worse than the crime.
Yeah. See, I think that was the problem. And to me, because that was the thing for me as a kid, and like all the shit I learned from the Bible, I was like, yo, shouldn't we forgive him? Isn't that what Christ is about? Like, isn't that? It's so like there was a big juxtaposition there for me, because I remember when he was leaving and hearing all that stuff, I was like, well, why don't we just accept him for who he is, and not accept him for who he is, but forgive him, and like, isn't that like a better thing? Isn't that more Christ-like? And I didn't get
Christ
it.
Probably jerked off. I think that it's more realistic that he walked on water than he didn't jerk off.
Yeah, he was a man.
His whole life.
He was a man. What did he do with his penis? What did Jesus think? Like, he just walked the earth and he'd be like healing the blind and the sick, and he'd go home.
He was fucking the blind.
Yeah.
That's how he healed.
You're
them.
healed. That's right.
That's how he
Is
healed
this the only way? Yep. I still can't see.
But I'm
Because that came in your eye.
I refuse to believe he never jerked off.
Yeah.
I refuse to believe the Pope hasn't jerked off.
Yeah. Well, he maybe in the past or something, but I know it does seem like really unrealistic.
It just doesn't make sense. It's like he doesn't take a shit. Like,
and there are like health problems for people that don't like
do any
maybe
of it.
not
You have
jerk
to do
off, but
all
like
that.
have sex. Yeah, like ejaculate. I guess that's the thing that your body needs.
Yeah,
like,
you need to. You got it. Will happen.
some point, I'm sure it has to.
See, in Judaism, we don't do it because it's wasting a seed. The seed is meant to actually be used.
I don't like that language.
I don't.
It's wasting the seed. Oh, that's another thing too about like the phrases that we use. Like I said a little while ago, like it's not Christ-like. That was a very that was a fundamental that we talked about, like being Christ-like. What would Jesus do? You ever heard that?
Yeah.
What would WWJD? Yeah, that was a big Christian.
I don't like the idea of looking up to any human.
Phenomenon.
No human. I'm cool if you tell me, let's be like God. What would God do? Let's do that.
Yeah.
But Jesus made mistakes.
Bring the mic a little closer, like right about here.
Jesus made mistakes. I refuse to believe that people are like humans are. You watch Lord of the Rings, like all the fucking elves and dwarves are always like, oh, those fucking humans are pieces of shit.
Yeah, dude. No, that's like the hearts of men are corrupt.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
you know.
They are, and
There's no way that one man has like Messiah. Like the Messiah is definitely not it's definitely not a man, but it's
a woman. No, I'm just kidding.
If even, yeah.
Well, like
it's a dog.
They're more wholesome than any man for sure. No, but that's crucial to me too. Like the idea of what Jesus is, and like you asked earlier about is Jesus God, and it's like that's complicated to explain because like I think it's still like a debate. Like a theological debate amongst, first off, with Protestants, but even within the church, like.
Well, God is the creator, no? So
yeah,
Jesus didn't create.
Yeah, you're right. But this is once again where it's first off nonsensical. Second, it's extremely complicated that how we view God and Jesus is the same. So we think of them as God is, or Jesus is the Son of God, but he's also like the equivalent to what Jesus is, and not only the equivalent. What equivalent to what God is, but also not only the equivalent, but also the same thing. It's so weird. It's like when we talk about it, we don't think of like Jesus is God. That's how we think about it. It's like they're one and the same, and the Holy Spirit too. The Godhead, 3 in 1.
And Mary, she's not God.
No,
but she's part of it.
Father,
there's
Son.
It's
respect.
Right. It's Father, Son, and the Holy. It's not the Mother.
Holy Spirit. Yeah, the Holy Spirit is,
well, it's God.
Shit. Yeah. No. Yeah. Exactly. And Jesus. It doesn't make sense. Kind of like a lot of stuff, but it's also what people believe. But Mormons believe that there's a difference in Jesus and God. Like they're two separate entities.
Yeah.
Which also is a contradiction of the 10 Commandments. That's the problem. It's like it contradicts the 10 Commandments. To have no other gods before me. Which one is that? Is that the second one? No, it's the first one.
No, I am your God. Yeah, I think the second is don't have any other gods.
Come on, man. You're supposed to be on that.
I am your God. Don't have any other gods is the second.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm pretty sure.
Both of those?
Dude, on the way?
Christians are breaking both of those.
For sure. Dude,
Which one is it?
I was driving from Virginia here back to Nashville last week. Mm-hmm. And on the way, there was like a billboard that just said all the 10 Commandments.
Oh, yeah, because, I'm driving down the road 75 miles an hour.
In case I forget. Yeah, exactly. They put so many words
wait, we better slow down, honey. Wait, it was all on one?
All on one billboard.
How
it was like,
did you read all that? Yeah.
Like, some of it was like... It was like bubble letters. Some of the one of them was bigger than the other. Like one would be smaller. Like, don't kill was huge and like.
Let me tell you about first. I got two things. There is a sign going 65 south towards Birmingham from Nashville, and it's like around the Huntsville exit. There's like a interstate that you turn onto to go to Huntsville. And before you get there or after, I don't remember, but there's 2 billboards that aren't too far from each other. Mm-hmm. And one of them is like promoting the Space Center. Like it has a kid looking at the sky and right next to it says, "Imagine what he'll know tomorrow." And it's just like,
And then
you
there's a
know,
billboard that responds to that.
look, it's funny because it's talking about, like, imagine what he'll know tomorrow, like
The
about
space,
science, you know, but specifically space, because it's promoting like the space center that you can
Yeah.
visit in Alabama and Huntsville. And right down the road, it shows like the evolution thing from like ape to man.
Yeah.
And it shows like, this is nonsense, or all this kind of stuff. And it shows like Bible verses and stuff. And it's like, are they trying to argue like the sign ahead, like as if that's their argument? Because that's not space. That the space isn't talking about evolution.
Then right past that was a billboard for Planned Parenthood, and then past that was a billboard.
Oh yeah. I don't think that there's any plan. I don't know if
Yeah,
Planned
there's
Parenthood.
definitely no.
Yeah, I don't know if Planned Parenthood's bold enough.
I've seen a lot of like posters about abortions, like you shouldn't do, like Bible verses and shit saying about like not to have an abortion. Like, who is driving, gonna get an abortion, looking at that billboard, and then like, the billboard.
That billboard is what done it for me. I don't know why I'm a woman that thinks like this out loud, but I can't have an abortion.
It's a feminist
that's-
woman. She's very very strong sounding.
Yeah. Dude, there's another sign past Montgomery, and it's going north to Montgomery. So it's on, I think it's 65 north from, wait a minute, it might be from Montgomery to Birmingham now that I'm thinking about it. Yeah, no, it's from Montgomery towards Birmingham. So 65 north, there's a sign on the right-hand side of the road, and it's like you can't miss it, and it's now like a staple. It's been there for years, and it's a sign, and I'll show it to you in a second. Actually, just look it up. It's a sign that says, "Go to church or the devil will get you," and there's a picture, and it's like a old classic art style. I don't know. It's like this old looking devil, and he has a pitchfork. But it's like it almost looks medieval, I guess. But like, go to church.
I feel like I've seen this before. Like, not like pictures of this.
Yeah,
I feel like maybe you've posted some shit.
I might have. I anytime I see it, like there's like some people
He's
that
got
do
the
memes
the
with it.
scythe or whatever they call it.
Oh, is it a scythe? Oh, that's even funnier. Oh, so they put it actually fell down recently. Yeah, that might be the old one. Yeah, it fell down recently, and they had to put it back up. But the story about that is that guy that owns, there's a huge property right behind that sign, and it's like a cow pasture or something. And the guy that owns that property owns where that sign is. So he put that sign up like a long time ago, and he did it, I think it was like after his mom died, and that was like homage to his mom, because his mom would say that to him all the time. So he got that sign made and put it up, and it became a staple of 65 North and Alabama
That's
in
so
general.
funny that like he spent his money on that.
I know. People, they believe it, man. They want you to think that. They want you to think, go to church or the devil will get you. Like, he probably bought it and thinks to himself, like, I'm doing the Lord's work. I'm doing good work for God. Yeah.
Exactly. But it's the funny thing is, like, specifically Christians, because there's a certain sect of Judaism that's like this, where it's like, I have to make you closer to God. Like that to me is like the opposite of, that's butting into someone else's business, like being like, you need to seek Jesus and shit. Like,
yeah, that's
very Christ-like. Very
actually, I would have to argue against that.
Yeah,
Christ was all about like
being
saving.
annoying, being the guy outside of the grocery store giving pamphlets out.
Dude. Well, like that's like the thing the church teaches is about Christ was outspoken and wanted to save people. It was not about like save yourself. It was about save yourself and save as many people as you can. And that's where the evangelical side goes, because people think of Jesus as like, a prophet. I mean, he was a prophet, and he was outspoken, he would go and hang out with sinners. And that was what we talk about is like church people don't need, like Christians don't need to hang out with other Christians. They need to hang out with sinners.
Yeah.
And that, do you remember that video I showed you today, Mark Cahill?
Yeah.
Dude, oh my gosh, dude, I am dumbfounded with how bold of a person he is, because he's all about, like, if you see somebody and you don't know if they know God or not, then you should tell them about God right now. Like, I would sit there and listen to that and be like, yeah, he's right. And dude, I got in some fucking shit with that. I would go to gas stations and there'd be some gas clerk and I'd be like, do you believe in God?
Yeah, see, to me, that's rude.
It is rude. It's just like, it's not, I guess maybe not rude, but it is just like, it's complicated. Like, it's hard. It's a hard conversation to just have at a gas station.
In the Jewish community, the one thing that they do that's equivalent, there's like a section of Judaism that tries to get you, every day you're supposed to, pray in Judaism, pray to God. Mm-hmm. And so they believe that they're going to go to heaven if they get you to pray. So they'll stand like on the street in New York and they look really Jewish and they'll just go over to everybody. Are you Jewish? Are you Jewish? Like, trying to get someone to pray. But like, it's kind of rude to just go over to everybody. Are you Jewish? Yeah. Are you Jewish? Like, yeah, I am, but you can't just ask that to somebody.
Yeah. It's just invasive. It really, because it's like, it's very near and dear to a lot of people, and it's like almost something that you don't want to like try to spoil, or it's hard because even amongst Christians, like the Christians may not even believe the same exact principles. Like, there's people that think running around at a church and screaming at the top of your lungs and blah, 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 ding dong is what God wants, and some people think, oh, that's just a show and that's BS,
For sure.
And so oh gosh, the once saved always saved, that was like a big thing. You ever heard of John Calvin? So there was this guy, it's called Calvinism, and it's like the belief.
I've heard of that.
Yeah, it's predestination. It's the belief in predestination, that God has predestined certain humans to go to hell and some to go to heaven. And then some would argue, no, that's not the case. God gives free will. Therefore, if we have free will, we are able to make the choice whether or not we belong in the kingdom of God or belong in hell. Mm-hmm. You see what I'm saying? Yeah. And there's a big debate about that, and it's a lot of like different Bible verses that really suggest both, which also shows you how contradictory it is. But along with talking to people about Jesus, dude, yeah, it was a big thing for my church, in particular the youth. It was all about like, going out, reaching, witnessing to people. That's what we'd say. We'd say, go and witness to this person. Go and be a witness for Christ. It's like, that's the kind of language you use. And like, you would go and you would ask people, how's your relationship with Jesus Christ? Because people don't want to think of it as like, hey, join our religion and do the things we do. It's like, you're implying like there's a relationship that you are a part of or not a part of, and we just want to let you know that it's not a religion, it's a relationship. Like, it's weird stuff.
Have you heard the good word?
Yeah, I've probably heard it before, and I know the phrase, but I don't think
Jesus loves you.
Yeah, that all the time. Yeah, definitely, Jesus loves you, and yeah, we would use that as like, Jesus loves you. Why don't you try to love him back? Like, it's crazy.
But love works so opposite. We tend to love the people that are the biggest pieces of shit to us.
Yeah,
Jesus should be way more rude. Well, maybe not.
I like how critical you are of Jesus, because it's like in the Christian world, you cannot be critical of Jesus. Like, it's
I'm not picking on. I'm picking on all religion.
I know. I just mean like, but just the way I talk about Jesus still, like I'm critical of religion and Christianity and Christians in general. But it's so funny because it's not as easy for me to criticize Jesus because I grew up believing in him for so long. Whereas like somebody that's, grew up in a Jewish household or is Jewish, it's probably really easy to just be like.
Also, Judaism is like, part of Judaism is critiquing, is questioning.
Yeah.
Is questioning. You're like, so why are we doing this? And then
arguing.
Like, part of doing things in Judaism, like, we have to do this tradition. While we do it, we're supposed to explain why we're doing it.
Yeah.
And we're supposed to question it. I don't know.
Yeah, I think that there's a lot of promotion of, I don't know. I think it's question certain things about, certain philosophies within a, church or an organization that's, Christian or not Christian even, but also like the bottom line. I actually had a conversation with somebody today. Basically, there is a absolute truth, and you have to find all the evidence to support that truth, rather than find a lot of evidence to see if that's the truth.
Interesting.
So I don't know if that's Judaism, because to me Judaism would say, no, this is the truth. God is the truth. But you have a different perspective.
I don't know what anymore. What's Judaism? Because what I end up learning is, like, I talked to my grandfather about evolution, and he goes, well, no, it's not a contradiction with what's in the Bible, because a day, back when it says a day, the world was created in 7 days, a day could have been 100,000 years back then. Yeah. Like shit like that. So then once you start saying that, it's like, okay, so my grandfather technically is Jewish, but he's technically not. He's technically an atheist if he really, you know what I'm saying? Like,
they're not making the connection. There's a lot of people that believe, like, for instance, like Christians that believe that there's a 6,000-year-old earth, but they also believe in evolution. Like, those definitely contradict, but you're not, connecting those dots. So I know some people that are like, yeah, evolution's real. We're millions of years old, but the Bible is also true. Like, they haven't figured it out yet. Like, there's a big problem and contradiction there, as far as like the chronological order of people that were born in the Bible.
I'm inclined to, like, obviously the Bible to me is bullshit. Now, if you say there was somebody that created the world or whatever, I can't argue that, because every time growing up, I would argue with, like, authority, and I'd say, how do you know God exists? They'd be like, so what do you think happened? And the Big Bang. Well, where do you think the chemicals from the Big Bang came from?
Yeah.
It's like, no matter which, at a certain point, religion's the only answer, unfortunately.
Yeah. Well, it's the only answer if you're wanting that to be the answer.
If you need an answer.
Yeah. So, like, if you are arguing... See, here's the thing, is like, if you're a non-believer or you are a, agnostic or atheist, you're not trying to figure out what answer I need in order to, prove that God exists. You're looking for an answer of how the world's working. Why is the world working? I mean, it's so much like... It's literally looking for the evidence to prove the truth, rather than saying, this is the truth, let's find the evidence to support it. Mm-hmm. So, anytime that I talk to somebody that, for instance, believes that there's a 6,000-year-old earth and doesn't believe in evolution, like, that's where, like, at least you're consistent, but but it's not true. Like, it's not it's
reasonable,
just,
I guess would be the word.
Well, it's just
Rational.
trying to make sure that they are still a Christian, rather than say, hey, what else is out there to know as truth, or why am I not questioning that in and of itself? Where it's like an atheist or an agnostic is not questioning, what can I figure out to make me religious? They're trying to just figure out whatever the truth is.
Do you think if we found out how the world was created, and, like, we were scientifically able to prove it, religious people would still deny it? Like, be like, okay, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Not only will they start, like, denying it, but, like, it'll be different versions. Like, there's so many different perspectives on, like, how the earth is made already, and there's so much evidence already to prove this is how the earth is.
I just wonder what the earth really is. I feel like if we were able to go miles and billions of miles away from Earth, that, like, we were able to see it from a far perspective, it probably is part of a bigger thing that we don't even know. Like, we don't really know what Earth is. We just know that we're on it.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know what you're trying to say.
What I'm trying to say is like the universe may be part of something even bigger. We don't even know what the universe is, you know? Like,
Oh yeah, like we are. That is interesting. Like, how did the scientists know? Like,
yeah,
what
like where
see,
they,
that's the thing. That's a good thing though. I actually commend this a lot of people that are like, you're just believing the scientists, you know. But like
I'm a fan of alternate thought, so it's important to have that. And I don't like that people are like, how could you question, like, you know, I understand why people would get caught up in flat Earth and stuff. At the same time, like, you got, once you do the research, you could, you know, you could break it down. But I think there is something to be said about alternative thought.
Yeah. So like, when you say alternative thought, I'm thinking of like for somebody to like question your. Okay, well, I guess we're going back to conspiracy theories, and I was trying to talk about like the evolution and Christianity disconnect, but some people making the connection, some people not. But I guess like religion in and of itself is alternative thought to me. Like it's alternative thought to like whatever.
But I think religion was the first organized thought. Like, I feel like when humanity just started, like, not humanity, society, civilization.
Yeah.
When civilization just started, I think religion was like the way to control people. You know, everyone was superstitious back in the day. Whenever you read like even history books or like things from, they're always like, you read like letters from like fucking Shakespeare times, and they're like, yeah, a curse has been put on me, you know, like.
You know, I actually talked with somebody about this today. I talked about two things today, about the philosophy of like, here's the idea of the truth, and now we're trying to find a bunch of evidence to support the truth versus let's get a bunch of evidence to figure out what the truth is. So there was another person I was talking about today about, and how she was like a conspiracy theorist about the moon landing.
Yeah.
And I was like, you would have to like discredit a bunch of shit in order to think the moon landing was not real. And I even like chose the simplest argument. I was like, there's no way in the 60s they had like the special effects to make that in
just
a film.
ask her why is the moon landing fake.
Well, see, that's the thing. It's like it goes to different things, and it's like, I think it comes from they want to have an alternative thought, and they also want to like the information that they're exposed to is like they're taking it as, you know, truth. I don't know, who knows, but I don't remember exactly what she said, because I did ask. I was like, why do you want to think that? But the truth is, she could say the same thing too, which she didn't. Actually, she did say something about like the Barron Trump book that was like found in the was like written in the 1930s, and somehow explains stuff of today.
What?
Yeah, dude, it's crazy, and I think it's all bullshit. But basically, I was like, have you read the book? She's like, have you? And I was like, oh,
I'm not the one talking about the fucking book.
I was like, no, I haven't read the book. That's why I don't believe the shit is true. But okay, so I was talking about the importance of alternative thought, and even today, about, you know, whether it's religion or you're questioning school or conspiracy theories. And this may contradict something I was saying earlier about like just thinking conspiracies are bullshit, but I do think that it's important to have alternative thought in regard to, I think, maybe what you're talking about.
Yeah.
What I was going to say is, like, you say that like, there's schools teaching history, okay, and they're teaching history, you know, a certain way, and I think that history is, you know, can be biased in some aspects. So there was like some law or like some legislation that passed to where public schools couldn't use secondary sources. Okay. It was like they had to change it to
direct sources.
Yeah, primary sources. Instead of reading about a guy or reading documents written by a guy who studied Frederick Douglass, you read what Frederick Douglass wrote.
Okay.
So, like, there was a lot of shit that was going on about that, particularly about the Confederate States and how the Confederate States, especially in the South, were how the schools were teaching it.
Okay.
And this may be like before the 60s, maybe in like the 20s or 30s or something. But they taught like that the Confederate States was like an admirable organization, you know, like they were, you know, they believed in what they fought for, you know, and they were great men and all this kind of stuff. And it's like, it's a completely biased point of history, you know. And I think that it's important, even then and even now, to like question that, like the bias of our history, the bias of our, dare I say, science, you know, like,
yeah, for sure.
Yeah. I think that there could be a little bit of that, but I also think that for in and of itself, history and science are different. And like, we have to know that histories are, you know, accounts of something written or filmed, or, you know, I guess there's evidence to show you what possibly happened in the past. Not to say they didn't, because I think most history is pretty accurate and it's backed by a lot of other, you know, historians and people involved. And that's the same argument I make for the science teachers, that there's a lot of strong evidence now to support whatever cause there is. And also, science like changes throughout time, which is why it's great. And I guess history is the same way too. Like, they do change over time. And
Isn't
I think
that weird? History changes.
Well, like how we teach it, I guess, or how we talk about it.
Yeah, but yes, how we talk about it. But like, it's weird that, like, you know, growing up, what we thought Thanksgiving was versus
what
know,
it really is, or like the Columbus thing, which I don't even really fucking know what to think. But if he did all that shit,
I was taught he was Jewish. I'm not, dude. I'm not joking.
Yeah.
Look this up. Columbus. Look this up.
I don't know why I'm laughing, because for all I know, it's probably true. Who knows?
There was what's it called? The Spanish Inquisition was going on in Spain, and they were basically massacring all the Jews. So the Jews had to pretend they were not Jewish. So people say that he was like his name wasn't Christopher, but
whoa,
yeah, I gotta look at.
That is.
There's no proof, but like,
I think
Craig just got back to me, by the way.
Did he?
Yeah.
Tell him come on over. No, we're gonna wrap this up probably
I need
in a little
food,
bit.
like in me yesterday.
But talking about like history, like, in the alternative alternative thought for like how, you know, if we didn't have alternative thinkers to argue that history that was taught then, we wouldn't be having the history we're learning
Jesus
today.
was an alternative thinker.
Yeah, well,
He
obviously Judaism changed completely.
That's why they sold him to the Romans or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's it's good for change, and I think change is like alternative thought. Just, I guess, whatever philosophically that is beneficial, I think, for a lot of people. First off, to question it in and of itself, like to question the alternative thought, challenge the conspiracy, as well as challenge what you think may not be true. Like, I think all that's important, and it's important to have a dialogue. It's important to
have an open mind.
Yes,
and to not be a dumbass.
Yeah, make sure that's a key thing too. Is make sure that you know both whoever the person is you're talking to, or what you in particular are thinking about. Or make sure your source is credible. Make sure that what you're getting it from, your information, is fucking sound. However, you know, you imagine that to be. I just think that, and I told this to that girl. I told her, I was like, look, I think it's good that you argue. I think it's cool that you can argue the moon landing. And I think it's like kind of interesting. I think it's kind of cool to have this alternative thought of like what the moon landing is and how it was all, you know, BS. But if I had to make a choice right now, who is more credible? TikTok that talks about this shit or fucking NASA? I'm going to have to pick the motherfuckers that fly spaceships.
That send satellites up.
Yeah.
We know that.
At least that.
Yeah.
Oh, she said that. She's like, I believe the rovers are up there, just not the people. And I'm like, What? Oh, there's another argument that's like, how come, and I saw a joke about this too. I'm going to say the joke because the joke's a better way to segue. But astronauts, you mean those cowards that won't go in the sea?
What's that from?
Some meme I saw, but like she was saying that. She's like, how come we don't know what's going on in the sea below us?
We should.
Well, it's like it's different. It's apples and oranges. It's like there's astronauts aren't studying to go to bottom of the sea, and there's more of an interest, honestly, I think, for most people. Like, who knows why we were able to go to the moon before we could discover everything in the bottom of the sea? If anything, they probably studied the sea enough to know that damn ain't fucking shit down here.
I mean, it's more realistic that the world will explode and we'll have to go out there as opposed to going into the ocean.
Yeah, that's true too. We can't really get rid of the water, but we can put air on the moon. Maybe one day we could. There's something that Richard Dawkins said one time.
What's that?
There was like, what makes you, besides just being a scientist and everything, what makes you think that science works more than what his religion has done? I think that was the question asked. But basically, he was like, well, cars go fast, planes fly, and medicine cures things. Like
I think of it this way. If there was a war between the Jews leaving Egypt, like with Moses,
yeah,
and the American army, who do you think would win? Because, like, the Jews leaving Egypt, they have God and all the plagues and the sea splitting and shit.
Yeah.
The Americans, they got nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
I think practically the American army would kick their ass.
Yeah. Well, this goes to, if you got your arm sawed off, or you
go to a
shot,
doctor.
Do you go to a doctor or you go to the prayer room at Tamisville Baptist Church where the homeless people be jerking off?
Well, for some reason they have that snake thing you were telling me about.
The snake thing?
Snake churches where they...
Oh, yeah. Hopefully they would not fucking go there. Drink a glass of strychnine to soothe
God
your
wants
pain.
me to live.
Yeah.
It's up to him.
Yeah, man. Like, the list goes on, and the chamber can echo all night about this kind of shit.
Yeah, I need food.
Okay.
See
Guys.
you later, peace.
Yeah. Thanks for listening this far, and yeah, maybe we'll have more later.